DrayZera Uncensored with our co-host Jack E. Hyde. Yo, you're truly DrayZera, and unfortunately we do not have our regular co-host Jack E. Hyde. Unfortunately, however, I have heard from the valleys of the north of the border, Mr. FPL himself, Daily Llama. Welcome aboard, man. Thank you for tuning in as our co-host. Hello.
Hello. How are you today, Dre?
I am chill, fam. I am chill. I was initially going, oh no, like, as in, flipping Jackie Hyde being unwell. I'm like, oh man, I need another co-host. I mean, I could do it by myself, but you know what it is, right? I prefer to have a chat with someone else, as well as the worldwide Moonlight Army. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, man.
You've got enough personality that you could be 6 people on your own podcast.
I feel like even though you mean it as a compliment, I feel like I might have multiple personality disorder or something like that, but you know how it is. But yeah, right. Before we carry on, man, I've got a mad thing to say.
Okay, go for it.
The mad thing is, Llama, is that before we continue, we have got a special guest.
You're joking. Well, who is it? You know?
Oh my god, well I'll tell you, man, the special guest is worldwide super UK physiques bodybuilder extraordinaire, CATHY King. Woo! And welcome back to DrayZera Uncensored, and we have got our very own special guest, my first special guest after the 2-year hiatus of DrayZera Uncensored, UK Ultimate Physiques athlete, CATHY King! How are you today?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I am good. It's an honour for you to take part. I mean, I have to say, we were talking off camera earlier saying that you've been missing the gym a lot, haven't you?
I have. It's been very hard since the gyms have closed recently.
I mean, it's an absolute mad thing, I have to say. But we'll delve more into that in a bit. So tell me, for all those that don't understand what UK Ultimate Physiques is, or the sport of Ultimate Physiques and that kind of world itself, explain to the world what that is, CATHY.
So basically, it's a bodybuilding show. So that's one of the federations. There's quite a few federations around the UK and around the world.
Mhm.
And basically, you're obviously just training and getting yourself in that condition through diet and exercise to showcase your body on stage, really.
And there's four specific categories, isn't there? Like, according to my notes, you can quote me on this. There's classic bodybuilding, bikini, figure, and model. Is that correct?
So yeah, there's quite a few different ones. So more of the more common female ones are the more bikini, figure. Things like that, and the model ones. The classic's more kind of the male side of it.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that females don't tend to go for the classic, or does it exist for the females?
So it's kind of just a bit different.
Oh, I get you. Okay, yeah, I get you. I mean, obviously the males, for some reason, don't do bikini, I believe, right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So tell me, so you've recently won medals last year. In your, was that the UK competition, and you went for the trials as well beforehand? I mean, that is amazing. Like, for me to personally know a medal champion, that's a mad thing for me. But yeah, like, so tell us the medals that you've won and the categories you're in, because obviously I don't want to misquote you, you see.
Yeah, so last year I did my first competition at the beginning of October, so I did a PCA competition, and that was just in the bikini category. What does
PCA stand for?
So that's Physical Culture Association.
Okay, cool.
So that's just another federation. Unfortunately, I didn't place there because I wasn't quite lean enough, so I need a bit more experience before I go for that one again. And then we went for the UK UP one a couple of weeks later, and in the bikini I came third, and the model I came second, which meant I qualified for the British finals.
That is awesome. Yeah. And then
So So yeah, then a week later we went to the finals and again came second in model and third in bikini. So I became a pro.
I mean, was that always your expectation, or was that more kind of we'll see how it goes kind of thing?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting it, but it's definitely given me a lot more confidence because after my first competition last year, my first ever one in 2018, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
I didn't place. It kind of puts you off a little bit, but then when you actually get something out of it, it kind of gives you that little.
Oh yeah,
again.
Absolutely, and I mean. I've seen various photos of competition of all categories within the physiques and bodybuilding federations, and I have to say, like, the amount of sacrifices you guys have to make, I mean, it certainly beats the people that just sit on their sofas recording audio podcasts, you know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely what I've been doing the last couple of weeks since the gyms have been closed.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, you're still, even though that there's been no gym, you have been keeping active. I mean, you haven't been posting as much on Insta stories, but you're still at it, and you're still rocking that. For all those that don't know, we'll put in the description CATHY King's Instagram, so you can see the world famous chocolate discus throw.
I'll try and get on that one again today.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely cool. But yeah, like, it's interesting because, so tell me, what is the difference between bikini and model? Because those are the two main categories that you work at. What are the main differences between the two?
Yeah, so for the bikini one, it's mainly it's the posing. So the posing for bikini is very structured, so you have to do certain poses, so you all look the same.
Okay.
So it's obviously a bit easier to judge because you're all in the same position.
Oh, yeah, makes sense, yeah.
So it's more depends on what you look like, so how lean you are, how much muscle you're carrying, and then the model one's a bit more free, so you're free to do whatever kind of poses you like in the different positions, and you don't have to be quite as lean for that one. I see.
But obviously, because you do both, you still have to be a good level of lean. And so
definitely.
Yeah, so tell me, so for all those that are not too intelligent, the difference between lean and bulk and all that kind of stuff, lean to me implies that you have to be at a very low body fat percentage. Is that correct?
Yeah. So obviously it depends what kind of lean you're looking for. Because if you're just going for like a summer body lean, or if you're doing for a stage look, because a stage look isn't maintainable, whereas your summer body lean is more maintainable.
Right. Because obviously, so interestingly, when you say maintainable, I remembered. So I'm a fan of this professional wrestler called Alexa Bliss, and years ago she used to do what you're doing now, and I think she mentioned about the amount of mad cutting you have to do to get into competition shape. Is that correct? Do you have to go in a very strict diet? Do you have to dehydrate yourself and that kind of stuff?
So it's not more the dehydration; it's more the food.
Right.
So over the years, you want to try and build up so you can start on higher calories, so you're not in such a deficit.
Okay.
Because obviously it puts a lot of pressure on your mind and on your body. Because there'll be times where I'm dragging my feet around about 3 weeks out because you just don't have the energy to do a lot, but you're trying to push it even more and more and more just to get in the exact condition that you want.
I get what you mean. That sounds. Does that come with any health dangers? Because I'm only asking because obviously not just because I'm a caring friend, but just because like I'm just understanding if there's any risk with because obviously there's risk in any sport. But yeah, so are there any main risks in terms of how you're training, how you're dieting, etc.?
Well, it can do, but obviously you're eating very, very healthy food. You just end up not eating a lot of it. So it all depends. You need to make sure before you even start that you are healthy in a great condition. It can have an effect on your menstrual cycle as a female. Myself, I haven't experienced any of that, but it can have an effect on that and other health implications. But as long as you're doing all the right things, then it shouldn't have too much of an effect on it.
I mean, so as I've told you before, I have done research about CATHY King. So according to my data, you've apparently done Spartan racing way back around 2014. Is that correct?
I did a few of those. I didn't really train for it back then. I kind of just, my friend did it, so I was like, oh yeah, well, I'll be one of them. That'd be fun.
Was that your first? Was that one of your first forays into kind of really intense kind of training? Because I know that obviously from how we met and all that. I mean, you have done skating as well for years before that. So I mean, does that all like correlate? Because obviously, any kind of physical activity can lead to another sport, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? So was that Spartan racing that gave you? Was Spartan racing or was it skating that gave you the kind of impetus to get into the world that you live in now?
So I guess it all kind of goes together. It's all fitness, it's all sport, but they're all very, very different. So it's not kind of something that you can do alongside each other very well.
Fair enough, yeah.
Because obviously when you're on prep, you can't, your energy's lacking, you can't do a lot. So it then puts a pressure on your skating.
I see.
But yeah, it was more when I got a job at a gym that it kind of pushed me into the bodybuilding side of things.
And was bodybuilding something that you've always been fascinated for years? Because obviously some people can suddenly become infused by something in a later point of their life. Or was it something that you've always thought about maybe when you were maybe a teenager or younger?
So kind of when I was a teenager. So my sister did a competition like many years ago, so it kind of gave me an idea, but I never really thought about it until I was about 22, 23.
Okay, fair enough. And obviously now that you've done that kind of thing, does that mean for you that is there next levels to the CATHY King? Are there any, are you pushing yourself to new levels, or are you trying to maintain? Obviously, due to the due to this lockdown, there aren't many competitions happening at the moment. But tell me, is it for you to move up to another level, or are you just maintaining the level that you're at on the long term?
Yeah, so I was due to compete in 6 weeks' time at the body power competition. It was my first competition as a pro, but obviously that's been cancelled and delayed until October, so fingers crossed that will go ahead, and then potentially going into that one, if I do place in that one, I could get qualification to go to the Worlds. Oh
wow, so, Worlds, that'll be...
So that would be incredible.
And where does the Worlds usually get held? Does it usually get held in America, or does it go any random country in the world?
So for this one, it's normally somewhere in Asia, but they haven't announced it yet.
I see. Somewhere in Asia. Oh, that's mad. I mean, if you go into Asia in hot climates, I mean, you can get the natural tan at that rate, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, that is interesting, and obviously, for all those that are trying to maintain fitness at this troubling times right now, obviously it must have a mad psychological effect on you, because obviously when you're in that training mode, you have to get up at a certain time, train at a certain time, work at a certain time, eat at a certain time, you know what I mean? And now, has that sort of gone out of the window at the moment?
It has. I definitely felt the first week that I had off work, and the first week the gym was closed, and after I got told the competitions are cancelled, I definitely struggled. But I'm just trying to get in some kind of routine now, making sure I'm not laying in until the middle of the day, which then affects your sleep and it affects your mood the next day. So it's just trying to get into that routine. But it's not easy, I will admit that, but some people find it easier than others.
I mean, that is amazing. So I'll tell you what. To close on this, you could take the floor. So firstly, tell everybody that are interested in the bodybuilding and physiques any quick tips you could say, and also talk about your social media, innit? Go for it, CATHY.
Yeah, so if you are looking just to keep yourself fit and healthy during this lockdown, make sure you get out for your hours exercise once a day, whether it's a walk, do a little high intensity training session, whatever you like, walk the dog, just go for a little stroll, and then just make sure you're eating enough but not too much, depending on what your goal is. So if you are looking to build, make sure you eat a bit more. If you're looking to lose or just maintain, just make sure you're eating the right amount for what you need.
That's awesome. And your socials?
My social media, so I'm mainly on the Instagram, and it's CathyKing22, and that's Cathy with a C.
Yeah, Cathy with a C. None of this K nonsense, okay?
No.
Sorry for all the Ks around. Sorry for all the special Ks of Cathy. We are going C for incredible. Hey! Even though it started with I, but I thought it sounded good in my head. Okay, cool, Cathy. Well, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully, I'm sure we'll see each other in the near future, and we'll hopefully catch up on you lifting the world title, yeah?
I hope so. Let's see.
I mean, yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, if she wins the world title, she could come back on the DrayZera Uncensored podcast, alright? Well, thank you very much, Cathy, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
No worries, thanks. Whoa, Llama, that was a great interview by Cathy, wasn't it?
Ah, mate, honestly, the muscles on the girl, wow.
I know, right? It is definitely... It is incredible, and it is an honour to have known her personally for quite a few years. So, Cathy, thank you once again. So, yeah, so Llama, so you have a mad ting, brand new audience that some people may have never heard who you are. So, tell people about yourself, man. Who is the Daily Llama?
You what?
Who is the Daily Llama?
Daily Llama is a mystery. It's a mystery that I'm keeping from people, so no one knows who the Daily Llama really is. So it's a bit of mystique that we have in the air. Nah, the Daily Llama was just a play on words that I had years ago. I wanted to have a PSN name for the PlayStation that was a little bit different. I couldn't obviously go with the Dalai Lama because, you know, well, I think if you're interpreting other people, mate, I don't think that's the best way to go forward, is it? So I just thought, well, let's just play on the words a little bit and we'll go with the Daily Llama, and it's just kind of stuck. So it stuck from there. So, yeah, so me, by day, I'm a project manager for a telecoms company in the UK, but I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
And then at night, I'm a gamer. So been playing the PlayStation with the same group of lads now for the best part of 10 to 12 years.
That's awesome, man.
And then for about the past season, I've been playing fantasy football with a group of people called Elite FPL.
Elite FPL!
Elite FPL. And yeah, and that's how I bumped into your cheeky face.
Oh yeah, that is definitely the case, guys. Yeah, so for all those that don't know, this is on the main channel. But if you want to check out fantasy football content, then head over to not only my second channel, DrayZera Fantasy, but more importantly, head over to Elite FPL. Elite FPL.
Get a lot of
mad ting indeed. So with the introductions out of the way and all that, sorry?
No, I'm just going, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah. So, with the introductions all out of the way, let's get to the main topic of this podcast. So, as you know, with Jackie Hyde unavailable for this week, get well soon, buddy, I had to change some topics a bit because, unfortunately, for obvious reasons, I can't really talk to Jackie Hyde about this topic, but seeing as you are from north of the border, let's talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Right, so a very simple, totally non-divisive question. Do you feel that Scotland is better off without the rest of the UK, in that the Scottish National Party, for all those that don't know, that's the SNP, the main party that governs the country of Scotland, they believe that they are better off without the UK and they can stand on their own 2 feet. So, what are your thoughts on that then, Mr. Llama?
First of all, Dre, I just want to say thanks very much for just going straight for the jugular and giving me a nice little easy topic of discussion to start with. So, yeah, thanks for that. So, yeah, can Scotland survive on its own, I suppose, is what we're asking. Do I want Scotland to survive on its own? Yeah, listen, I would love for that to happen. But I think as things currently stand, we're better off staying as we are and just stay united and stay together. But when we look at what Scotland have got, then, I don't know, I suppose it does kind of beg the question of could they survive on their own. I think what you might find is that you could end up with a typical, or not typical, but an Ireland situation, whereby things could the shit could hit the fan for a good number of years to begin with. But let's look at some literacy, shall we? Some llama literacy on it.
That's some good illustration, man.
Thanks, pal. So, Scotland is quite resourceful, and I think they're quite a resource-rich country. So when we look at things like tidal, wind, and wave energy, just as some examples, they're probably up there and a leader in development and deployment of renewable technologies. I don't know if you know, but they've got the world's leading wave and tidal test centre. So when it comes to things like that, you know, we've got established expertise and experience in offshore oil and gas. They've obviously with that got a skilled offshore workforce. When it comes to ports, you know, because we are an island or an island, we've got a skilled offshore workforce, so we've got a good port infrastructure and a strong, like, probably innovation hub. Looking at the wind and tidal resource, Scotland's probably holding, I think the stat that I saw ages ago was about 25% of that resource.
Oh, wow.
So there's an example that with what we've got in terms of turbines and all that type of stuff, and we know what the weather's like up in Scotland. Everyone else in Britain's getting a heat wave, and we just get 4 seasons in a day. But there's enough electricity up here with what we've got that we could probably power about 4.5 million homes for about 6 months. Wow. Do you know what I mean? So when we look at things like that, what about people? So you've been to Scotland, you know what we're like up here.
Yeah, man.
But we've probably got up there with the most educated people in the whole of Europe. And that's no disrespect to anyone else.
I mean,
but we've got, there's 50,000 students come to Scotland, which is split about 180 different countries every year.
That's pretty impressive.
And out of the main universities that are in Scotland, the 4 main universities that are up here, they're in the top 200 of the world.
Wow, that is pretty impressive.
So people are coming to Scotland for a reason, you know?
Yeah. You don't come in for the weather, I tell you that much.
No, but look at our landscape, look at the countryside.
Absolutely.
You know, where I stay, you know, I can get into the main cities in Scotland in about 20 minutes from where I stay, but I can also drive in one direction for 20 minutes and be in the middle of gobshit nowhere.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's kind of the bizarreness there. Exporting, there's about £5.5 billion worth of exports from Scotland. That was back in about 2017.
That is a big number.
So trade's not too bad. You know, I think there's a lot of people own a lot of what's in Scotland now, unfortunately, like our whiskey and our water and stuff like that. But we've definitely got good relationships when it comes to trading.
Oh yeah.
And here's one for you. Did you know that, well, you'll know about Rockstar, yeah? Because you're a bit of a gamer. Where's that based?
That is based in Scotland, I believe, right?
It is. It's based in Edinburgh. So when you look at the gaming industry, which went up about, I don't know, 30% there or thereabouts back in 2017, you know, that's got another load of revenue income coming in of about 170 odd million or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And we're sitting there with Rockstar that made Grand Theft Auto, and that's one of the best-selling video games ever made.
And I mean, in 2021, I believe that there'll be Grand Theft Auto 6, and Grand Theft Auto 5 has been an absolute revelation. And previous iterations of GTA, such as Vice City, San Andreas, I tell you, man, like, as I've come from the demographic such as yourself, of which we've enjoyed these Wii games since our teenage lives and in our childhood, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I remember when the first Grand Theft Auto came out, the only way that you really won the game was to try and barricade cars together. And I remember it was like, when I was a student, we had to hook PCs up together with LANs. So it was that was the only way you could really multiplayer. Yes,
I remember those days, yes, absolutely. Oh, man.
I mean, it wasn't like health and safety would have shut us down for the amount of cables we had running between dorm rooms. So that was the only way we could do it. And then look where we are now. That was when, I don't know, am I allowed to say this on your podcast, when you ran down all the was it Buddhas?
Yeah, you
And
could.
they said Garanga.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Keep refreshing me. Refresh me a bit.
Yeah, but no, that was one of the things I remember. It was like, because obviously Grand Theft Auto was quite cutting edge right from day one when they first launched, but I do remember, I'm pretty certain if you ran down a set of Buddhas on a pavement, they said Garanga.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So from my from my experience in Scotland, so as people know by now, I've done spoken word poetry. I still do that poetry thing. I've been to Glasgow twice. I've performed in Edinburgh twice. So in total, I've been to Scotland about a handful of times, 4 or 5 times, I think. And yeah, and the people of Scotland in general, I feel that this is not a disrespect to any other country or any other culture, but I feel that the Scottish people, they tend to be quite engaging in conversation. They have a variation of ideas. I mean, the poetry scene in Scotland, and obviously poetry can be linked to education, philosophy, and all that kind of extrapolation. I feel that the Scottish people, they have a lot to say, and they won't be afraid to speak their opinion. There's a lack of political correctness up there compared to here, I tell you.
Yeah, we'll just say it as it is.
Exactly.
You know, there's no grey areas when it comes to Scotland. You're either told straight or you know, that's it. There's no pissing about with words when it comes up to you.
So when it comes,
I think but that's a good thing. You know, I'd much rather be living in that type of society where you can just tell it as it is. And not hold back. But I'm not one for offending people too much. Absolutely.
I was more thinking about the example of, say, if I'm up north and I'm a sucker for different accents. So, if, say, for example, yours truly wants to, for example, date an individual from up north, then I'll just say it how it is, and they're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, exactly. But these days are gone now, and that's the thing. You know, like the whole scenario of I mean, I know that you're not a drinker these days, but when I was growing up, we would all be stood at a bar typically, or you know, a nightclub or what have you. Yeah. A girl would catch your eye, or a boy, just you know, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. Or any non-binary, any gender you are, whether you're a lamppost. Or if you are non-binary, whatever pronoun, we do not discriminate on the DrayZera Uncensored podcast. Carry on, Llama.
No, certainly not. But I mean, that's the thing, like, there was a whole nervousness there. So for me, if I wanted to approach a girl, you had to kind of pluck up the courage almost and do that bit of bum dance, and then, you know, sorry, I bumped into you there, and then that was you, and then you cracked on, you know? Whereas now, you just swipe right or left.
Oh, yeah. Other dating sites are available.
Of course they are. I mean, I never narrowed it down to one in particular. I was just kind of going on what I've heard, that you know, you swipe left, you swipe right, whatever the case may be. But I think that the whole conversation piece is gone now. You know, like. Do you
think that's an indictment of society in general, though?
You what?
Do you think that's an indictment on society in general, though? Because here's the interesting thing, because I can relate to someone. I'm not going to mention names, but in my past employment history, as I am now in my 30s, as of a few weeks ago of this recording,
Happy birthday, Dre.
Oh, thanks, man. I've had the greatest birthday ever, man. I haven't even hugged anybody in my 30s, let alone anything beyond that. But that's another story. But anyway, getting back to the point in question, so I'd say that somebody, I'm not going to compare myself particularly, but I'd say, for me, and this is no disrespect, I feel that there are a higher level of engagement with me conversing with somebody of, say, my age demographic compared to a younger demographic. I mean, the reason why I say that is because I feel that younger people, I feel due to the fact that they were born literally with smartphones, born with technology, whereas we still remember VHS and all that, and the Walkman, and I just about remember the Betamax. So with that said, Yeah,
I didn't know you remembered the Betamax.
They were loose. They were literally, well, in the very, very, very early 90s. I feel that even though they weren't really producing, I have seen them when I was a little cherub. But in all honesty, I feel that the society as a whole, I feel for younger people especially, I feel that, and this is me being honest, their social skills suck. Their way of conversing isn't as good as somebody of, yeah, they're not as good as, say, people of, let's say, my age demographic and above, and I feel that they're just afraid of articulation. And if you guys are offended, anyone who is of the age demographic of 18 to 22, you are free to come to the DrayZera Uncensored podcast. You can have your say. These are my opinions, and these are uncensored.
Yeah, but I think you're right. But I have to agree with you though, because I think that's the thing that, you know, the other thing as well is that, right, is like, girls going out for a night out when I was doing that kind of stuff. You know, they would take 2-3 hours to get ready to go out, and then all the rest of it, and then they would go out with their mates and off they went and had a great night and all that jazz. That kind of happens now, but it's done through filtering on your phone.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
so I almost feel like there's a lot of fakeness out there, and that's another thing that annoys me.
100%. I mean, the DrayZera that people know, I wear a mask, but at least I'm showing it through art and authenticity. There's no filters apart from like proper fancy edits. There's certainly no filters with you, Dre. And that's what we love about you. Thank you.
So never change.
Yeah, that's what I really feel that bothers me too. I mean, I'm going in a bit of a tirade here, a tirade or whatever, but literally, like, the amount of I mean, it's also males too, and other genders or non-binary, but mainly females. I mean, all these filters of cat or dog or like adding a glow up. I mean, like, here's the thing, like, I don't care. Like, I honestly do not care about these filters. Take a picture of yourself, yeah? I don't mind the, like, Amaro or kind of filters that, like, slightly edit lighting, but if you're just going to add, like, a dog or, like, cat or like, you know, just, like, what's the point? Like, honestly, I mean, it may look funny, but I just feel that, you know, just be brave. Like,
I would be interested. I mean, I know you've gave there like an open invite, and that's great, because I would like to hear their opinion. Like, people at that age group, I'd love to hear their opinion on how they approach stuff.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, that's the other thing as well, is that when we were growing up, it was a case of if you sucked at a subject at school, for example, you kind of just took it on your chin. You know, your mum or dad or whoever would just give you a scud around the back of the head and tell you to get your finger out.
Yeah.
Whereas now, they parents typically will go to school and actually moan at the head teacher or moan directly at the teachers and say it must be your fault. It's not the kid's fault. It's your fault. So when it comes to employment, I think a lot of youngsters feel like they should deserve to have everything handed to them on a plate.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what my opinion is. You know, and everyone everywhere's got to work hard to get to these places. Nothing's handed on a plate, and you need to learn that and learn that quick. But I might be totally wrong. It just, you know, I might be completely out the loop on that.
I feel also, if we're gonna flip this around, because I want to like balance the argument a little bit, I would say that firstly, I think that the days when we were growing up, I feel that things and items are far more expensive now than then. So, for example, say a pair of headphones. I mean, a pair of headphones when we were kids, like, whereas headphones are like wired earbuds, I'd say that wouldn't cost, like, decent ones wouldn't cost more than 20. These days, you get like AirPods that are close to 4 figures, and like, I'm like, how much are AirPods? Hold on, I'm gonna do some research.
I think AirPods are probably about £200, for example.
Okay, they're between.
My niece just got the new iPhone just a few months ago.
Oh yeah, the iPhone.
She only wanted it if she could get the EarPods for them. And there's plenty of other brands of phone out there as well, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just while we're keeping things on a playing field here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, that's the thing. Like, when we were growing up, you had like the earphones were small, and the cassette decks were massive, and now it's the polar opposite. Everything's in your pocket on a phone, and the earphones are fucking huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the interesting thing. I mean, yeah, I was looking at the prices. The prices are around the 100 to 150 mark, but the thing is, and I don't know if it's me being a bit older or anything, but they honestly look like the end of an electric toothbrush in your ear. I just find that weird.
I would be feared that they fell out.
Exactly, and I know this is clever marketing from Apple. They're like, AirPods now with wire attachment. I'm like, whoa! It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But no, literally,
That's never been done before. No one's ever thought of this idea of having a wire coming from a headphone.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, for example, iPhones are like the highest grade iPhones and other brands such as Samsung, Huawei, etc. They are like on around the £1,000 plus range, and and I mean, like, if we're talking about Yeezys, you know what Yeezy is, by the way?
Shoes.
Yeah, them Yeezy shoes. They're like 4 figures as well.
Trainers.
Yeah, they're specific brands.
You say that, Dre, but I've got a pair of them, and I've got a pair of Yeezys, because I'm pretty cool for my age.
Yeah, you're pretty cool.
But I certainly never paid that for them. I got a pretty good version of them from Turkey.
Ah, cool. See, I mean, you just but what I think my point I'm trying to say is I feel that younger people, tend to be. They have the FOMO disposition, which is fear of missing out. Where that happened though. I don't know about you, but I certainly seen that when I was growing up. Oh yeah.
You know, but it didn't seem to happen until I was at maybe the tail end of high school. That type of stuff started to creep in. So up until that point, it was kind of just anything went. You know, you were who you were and all that type of jazz.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But kind of halfway through high school and, you know, towards the end, and a lot of it was probably bullying at the stage, but at that time we didn't know as kids that was like mental bullying or, you know, anything like that. We weren't aware of it. But the type of stuff they would pick on would be, oh, you're not wearing Nike Air Max, for example.
Oh, yeah. I get what you mean, yeah.
You're not wearing a pair of Timberland boots. You're not wearing like Mackenzie or Benzini jumpers or things like that, you know.
So I
suppose I think what's happening now, it's more in your face.
With social media, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's a good. I mean, I don't know how would you have been with social media back in the day if it was in your face like it is now, when you were in high school.
See, here's the thing. When I was younger, I felt that I was nowhere near as confident as I am now. And I feel that it would give me a high nervous disposition. I mean, I think the only thing, that there were two main things that I had a FOMO, fear of missing out, about when I was a teenager or that kind of age demographic. I think I was afraid about missing out on Pokemon cards and missing out on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's it. And both of them, in one way, I still play Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Nintendo Switch. And I played professionally in Yu-Gi-Oh for the best part of nearly a decade. So for me, I took them in a degree of which it is not, beyond the casual level. But the point I'm trying to say is I guess that I think that it's literally, you're right, it is literally in your face, and I feel that social media have made people so anxious about so many topics I feel that we never really talked about when we were kids. And I mean, mental health is always important no matter what era you are in life or whatever in the past. But I feel that unfortunately I think people need to learn that. This is ironic because this is going up on a social platform called YouTube and maybe other platforms in the future, but I mean, for me, I mainly use social media just to message my mates, such as Discord, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, etc. But I also mainly do it to promote the business because that's obviously how you do things in 2020. But
you're right, and don't get me wrong. I think there's that aspect of it which is really, really good in terms of like communication. You know, like I've got one of my best mate moved to Australia about 10 years ago.
Aye.
So So using Facebook or whatever to keep in contact with him is great, or, you know, WhatsApp, especially because you're on Wi-Fi anyway, so it ain't costing you nothing, but you're still able to keep in contact with people, you know, at the other side of the world. You know, so it's great for, you know, for that regard, but I just feel sometimes that because people, I'm not saying it happens all the time, but from what I gather, there's a thing to basically almost create a perfect life for yourself. So, you know, so you'll get people on Facebook that, you know, they're showing you the pictures of the meal that they've made and all that type of stuff and how good life is and all that type of jazz. But I feel like, you know, I'm not, hey, if they are having that, then hey, hats off to them. You know, that's great, obviously. I mean, I don't wish any badness to anyone, but I also feel that they're just creating a perfect place. You know, and it's just false. So when we were saying there about filtering photographs to make it look perfect, that's the fear that I've got of that side of social media, is that everything's just laid out as if everything's perfect, when in reality it's not.
I mean, yeah, it is absolutely mad. And you know what's pretty amazing about this whole podcast is that we kind of metamorphosized from talking about Scottish independence to social effects of younger generation to modern generation. Yeah.
So let's chunk it down and go back a step then.
Yeah.
So I think that yes, there are some things that we have in our favour in Scotland in terms of like the type of country that we've got, the type of people that we've got within it, the resources that we've got round about to be prosperous. You look at other places like your Norways and stuff like that, and I think Scotland could potentially be on a par with countries like that, which is great, and I'd love to see that happen. But there's always something in the back of my mind that thinks that you're better off together.
Here's my honest opinion. I mean, if you guys can get back your fishing industry that kind of devolutionized a few decades ago, I'd say do it. Because here's something you might not know about me.
Because you want to get your rod back out.
Well, no, I've never actually been fishing before. But what I used to do a couple of times is I've done tall ship sailing.
Oh, okay.
Like properly, like the kind of ships that you see on Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever. So I know I've learned about like the seas and the history behind it. I know that back the husbandry industry, aka the fishing industry and all that, I feel that you guys were far more prosperous before, I believe, was it Margaret Thatcher that shut it down, or am I correct in saying, or?
She played a key role in doing a lot of damage in some things, unfortunately.
And I feel that maybe it could be the case whereby I honestly think that if you guys could sort out that industry and do a few kind of things, I feel within 5 to 10 years, I honestly feel that Scotland could be a powerhouse, because I feel that a lot of Scottish people, like the way I feel, like the vibe I felt when I was in Scotland, people say that they're Scottish first and British second. You know?
Yeah,
like,
and that is the case.
Indeed. Well, man, you know what's interesting? I feel that I did say that on my notes that you can have a topic of your choice, but we've been talking for quite a while. So what I'm going to do is a quick 5 to 10 minute conversation about whatever you want to talk about, man. Go for it.
Right, okay, so let's try and link what we've been blurbering about for about the last half hour or whatever it's been.
Yeah, man.
So I myself have got that, like mental health issues and all that type of jazz. And one of the main areas that's kind of, not supported, they have supported, but also helped, has been the involvement that I've had with Elite FPL.
Okay.
Back in the day before I was diagnosed, I would never have started a podcast, for example. I would have never have picked the phone up to you. At times I would struggle. Self-isolation was made for me in this current situation that we're in.
Wow.
As a person that games, a person that enjoys, interaction on Discord, etc. And I feel like in the past year, whilst I've been involved with Elite, I've started to get back out my shell again, which is great, and it's great to see. and people round about me are noticing that difference. So I suppose that's the question back to you. You know, some of these people, like, you know, with the guys that we interact with on our Discord channel, for example, within Elite, I don't think they even realise the help that they actually can give each other. So if we were going to talk about anything, I suppose that's it. You know, I know you joined Discord, what was it, maybe about 6 months ago with Elite?
Yeah, I would say about that kind of time frame, yeah.
Yeah, there or thereabouts. And how have you found it? Because I think this is, you know, so whilst we were talking about the disadvantages of social media, I think it's good to also, for me, see the advantage of it as well.
Absolutely.
And that's a key area, you know, so it's helped me a lot, and I don't know if it's helped you.
I feel...
So that's what I'm putting it back into your shoes.
See, I feel that before Elite FPL, I feel that even though that I'm not going to beat around the bush. I know people from up and down the land in various places. However, saying that, I feel that Discord in itself, and of course Elite FPL, having that kind of community and camaraderie, I feel that that's a priceless entity. I mean, while I feel that I don't think that I would be any much more different per se, I feel that I have learned a lot from people, and I think that learning from people is quite a valuable experience, and not only in a social media setting, but also in real life. And I feel that the Elite FPL as a community, and I'm not trying to belittle any other community within the fantasy football spectrum or anything, but from my opinion, I feel that we are the most dynamic, we are the most vocal, and we give out the most opinions, because the platform that Elite FPL gives all of us gives us an equal voice. There's not an I in team, because we, Elite FPL, we are the team.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And that's the thing, and it's, you know, I think FPL as a community on the whole is fairly decent from what any interaction that I've had, it's always been a positive one. You know, and I think within Elite and within our own Discord, exactly as you say, the opinions are there for everyone to have, you know, and nothing's cut short, and we know that within our own individual podcasts or our own live streams, that's just what's kind of advocated, is to go down that road.
Yeah.
And I think even in the current climate and unfortunate circumstances that we're finding ourselves in, you've now got a PlayStation community that's now grown off the back of Discord. You've now got a poker community that you got involved in that's came off the back of the Elite Discord channel. I'm not saying that that's not happening in amongst other community FPL, you know, kind of podcasts, etc. But I just think that shows you the diversity and great community that we've built in. So even in the tough circumstance that we're in now, we're actually looking out for each other, make sure that we're all doing all right, that type of jazz. Whilst, right, okay, so we can't play FPL at the moment, it's a bit of a bummer, but it's not like the Discord shut down or YouTube shut down for us. Here we all are. I'm on a cast with you just now. You've been on mine, you know, a few times, and that will still continue. And we're looking for other things to do to just make sure that we're all smiling, you know.
Absolutely.
We're all here for each other.
Absolutely, guys. Obviously, guys, comment below or like the video. Tell us how you feel about how social media has affected you, whether positive or negative, and also talk about if you are from the Highlands, if you are from Scotland. Right, we are also recording this the day of WrestleMania Day 2, of which your great Scotsman himself, Drew McIntyre, he is going to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. So by the time this comes out, we'll see if Drew McIntyre can become the first ever British, but also first ever Scottish world champion in WWE.
Is he going to do it?
I don't know. Well, I mean, people will know by the time they hear this, because this will come.
The only guy I remember back in the day was like, who was it? Was it Rowdy Piper or something like that?
Yeah, Rowdy Piper. Even though that he had Scottish roots, but he's not Scottish, if that makes sense. But yeah, literally, check out Drew McIntyre, man. He's literally he looks 100% Scottish. Like, everything about him is Scottish.
So what you're saying is he should be on the box for porridge oats?
100%. 100%. 100%. Right, so before we go, tell us any social media that we can follow you at, Mr. Llama.
So, pretty much at the Daily Llama, FPL, the Daily Llama, actually, on Twitter, if anyone wants to hook up via Twitter. If you join Elite FPL's channel through their website or via their YouTube, get access into their Discord, you'll see me there under the tag of the Daily Llama. And yeah, that's pretty much it, mate. Just Twitter and Discord with regards to the Llama. That's where I am. Awesome. And then they could also come onto the Llama Lounge alongside me and you.
Absolutely.
You and I, even.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do is in the description below, we'll put down Elite FPL's website so you can find all the details on how to join all them goodies, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. How's your poetry going? Is it going good?
Oh man, it's going good. And speaking of which, I feel that, the Palm Chronicles, I don't know if you've seen episode 1 yet, but...
I did.
Oh man, what did you think?
It's good. I like it.
I literally had to really maximise my back garden, man, I tell you, man. Literally filming in my back garden at 2:30 in the morning due to the lighting and everything. Oh man, that was a mad thing, I tell you.
And that's the effort you go to.
100%. Yeah, Palm Chronicles every Saturday on the DrayZera main channel, but also, yeah, I'm going to be continually pumping in content, and without spoiling too much, I think you 100% got to check out the video on the DrayZera Fantasy second channel on Tuesday. I think it's going to be one of the maddest things I have ever made on that channel.
I'm sure it will be.
I do. Well, Llama, thank you very much for coming, and my name is DrayZera, and Llama have the last word.
Take care, people out there. It's a rough world we live in, but we'll get through it together. Take care. Peace.
Bye-bye, guys. See ya!
So the air is, communications, ideas, travel, people, deep thinker.
I will find a way out of this despair. Arrive in the fiery air.